The 7 deadly sins. I'm in the offices of Edelweiss Asset Management today for another episode of the She Means Business Chat Show. And we're going to talk to Radhika Gupta, the CEO, about her 7 deadly sins. Stay tuned, but don't forget to like, share, or subscribe to this video. Hi, Radhika.
Hi.
Okay, the 7 deadly sins. But before we go to those, I'd like to quickly understand a little bit more about your journey from consultancy to Forefront Capital, a startup of your own, and then now to the CEO of Edelweiss Asset Management. Briefly, your journey.
So, very quickly, I've done my education in finance/economics and computer science. Uh, Started as a consultant with McKinsey because I wanted to try something out. I thought it was a great platform to just kind of learn. Then actually left that to start financial services in the US.
Okay.
Work at a hedge fund in the US. Saw really good times in 2006 and 7.
Yes.
Saw really bad times in 2008. And then moved back in India in 2009 to start Forefront Capital. Again, because I had not really lived in India, but I wanted to start up something on my own. And, obviously financial services is what I knew. So did that. Grew Forefront Capital independently, literally from a bootstrap startup to what it was. Decided I wanted to do more and sold the business to Edelweiss with my co-founders. Ran the business within Edelweiss for a few years, and then again wanted to do more and got an opportunity to run a larger scale retail business about a year and a half ago, which is when I took over as the CEO of Asset Management.
Are you ready for the 7 deadly sins?
I am. Let's go for it.
We're going to begin with lust.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, at rupees 200 crores, Forefront Capital would have been a very sexy proposition with many suitors. Why did you choose to go with Edelweiss? Why did you choose to go with anyone at all?
So it's a really good question. I'm actually glad you asked me that. I mean, the second part first, why did, it's never easy to sell something
Yes.
that you've created. Literally, I mean, I got the PAN card of this company registered myself because,
Okay.
I was everything from the, pantry girl to the head of the business. So there's a lot of love when this company was created. But I think at some point we decided that, we wanted a bigger platform. We wanted to grow, and there was only so much in financial services at that point I felt you could do as a startup. So that was where the decision to sell came in. And I never thought of it as a sale. I always thought of it as finding a good home for ourselves.
Okay.
So when the whole decision making process about Edelweiss or anybody happened, it actually took 9 months. We met a lot of people. We met names that are bigger than Edelweiss as financial services and corporate giants. We met names that would be smaller. But ultimately, it was actually never about the money. It was about the fit. It was about finding a home for ourselves, finding partners. Because most people will tell you acquisitions are disasters. I mean, people told me they will eat you alive. Nobody's eaten me. But it was just about finding the right home, and it was about connecting with people and having long conversations about your career. I've never worked in India, so I was really hesitant about working in India when you get told things like this is going to be a Lala company and things like that, etc. So it's dispelling all those fears, and that's why it's worked. The acquisition has worked, and I've done multiple other acquisitions because the cultural fit was right. I think that was important.
So the fit,
The
basically.
fit, it was all about the fit.
But when you transition from a co-founder of your own startup to being the CEO, or working with a larger company,
Yeah.
personally, what was the toughest task that you had to do?
So I think people ask a lot of questions like, "Oh, you've made the transition. Have you lost your independence, etc., etc." I think that's very, very overstated. I mean, there's no such thing like you never have a boss, etc., etc. When you're a startup, your customers are always your boss in any case. I don't think it was a very easy transition. We transitioned in about a month, and things were back to business. In fact, one of the nicer things is that when we transitioned to a corporate, a lot of the administrivia headache, we have a lot of backing in terms of compliance and corporate and legal. And if something goes wrong, there's someone, on your head. Obviously, there are systems and processes and procedures that a startup doesn't have. But I truly believe in this organization, I have the freedom to run like a startup in many ways in terms of the aggressiveness of the business, in terms of the culture I want to set, but I have the flexibility and platform of a larger organization. So I never felt that transition.
Okay, interesting. Next up, Greed.
Good one.
Where do you want to see Edelweiss Asset Management go under your watch? What would success mean to you in this role?
So you said greedy. I'm very ambitious for this business, and I'm very ambitious for the business, and I'm very ambitious for my team. So we are about a 22,000 crore asset management business today. I've said multiple times that within 6-7 years, I want this to be a market leading business. I want this to be a 2-3 lakh crore asset management business. I've got a photo frame in my office where my team has tied in thread, kind of promising that we'll do this in 2025. We call that our own mission Everest, conquering the impossible. So we're very ambitious about the business. But I think success also means building quality. So I told my team in my last town hall that it's not just about the number. I want our customers to feel really great about the business that we've built. I think that's important. And I want people to come here feeling very happy about the company they come to work for. I think if these two things can happen, I think if you can build a large business, if your customers can respect you, and if your employees can come to work every day thinking, man, I work at a great company, I would have done a good job.
But give me an example of that, translating your vision to your team and ensuring that they're happy, like you said, about coming to work. How do you manage that? What do you do?
So one, I'm still learning. I think leadership is something you don't figure out. I'm learning it every day. I'm learning it on the job. I've been given the job of leading a large team, relatively young. Also, what I firmly believe in, this may be unconventional, is that a CEO's role is not to sit in the corner office and be distant from the team. It's to be very hands-on to the team. It's to be tough, yes, but it's also to solve problems. It's also to walk around. So I try to make sure I'm walking on this floor for an hour every day and just laughing and talking to people so that they feel that connectivity with me. I just won some award on Friday, and I can tell you, much happier than me was my team, and they're so excited about it. I feel tremendous energy. I have 23 branches all over India. I feel tremendous energy when I walk into those branches. They give me more energy than I do. So I don't know if there's a formula, but for me, it's just been being very hands on and building trust again and again and again. Being there to solve problems, trying to inspire them. And I think that's how culture falls through.
Okay, next up, Roth. Okay, this is actually a personal, it's also a personal favorite, and this is something that I'm very passionate about as well. So I did a dipstick study and realized that many women still don't take charge of their money.
Yes.
Savings and investments is something that they will leave to their husband or brother or whoever they would want to. Now, what do you think is the solution as an organization, as an industry, or even as a visionary for the fact that fewer women understand mutual funds, or forget mutual funds, even
money.
Just savings, money?
Yeah.
What would you see as a, I won't say solution, but at least a step in solving this?
So I feel a little guilty about this as an industry, because you're right. I mean, even very educated women leave the money decision to the men in their household. I think at some level we as a financial services industry are a little guilty, because we make money and finance very, very complicated. It is an extremely jargonized industry. I mean, and I remember from the time I was at Wharton, which is a finance-centric school, it would be scary as a woman to go to some of these classes, because the men around you would be talking about their personal stock portfolio and this and that. And and this is true in computer science also. You don't need to be a stock nerd to know how to manage money. Exactly. It's actually a very simple job. You need to have, and women are good budget keepers, by the way. I mean, you know stories of your nani and dadi who kept that stri dhan aside and managed the household within very
whatever
limited
the budget, they will manage the
they
household.
managed, and they managed it within very limited means, and it was always about giving the next generation better than they had. So women are naturally good budget keepers, maybe better than men. So I think it is just about telling women that it is not complex and get started. So one of the things, so I come from a family which has been in government and teaching, so we don't come from the corporate world. I think the only good thing I did when I started earning was starting to save early. And I made a lot of mistakes managing my own money. But because I started early, I made them, I think, when I was younger on the training ground, so that by the time incomes grew, I'm a little more aware. You will make mistakes in managing money like you make mistakes in every other domain. That's also okay. The point is to get started. So when I meet any woman, I just say, get started. And one of the things that we as an asset management company want to do is just simplify things. simplify our communication,
That will help.
simplify our products. If that's one thing that we can do, I think not just for women,
For
it will be
everybody.
accessible to
Yeah.
everybody.
Everybody.
Finance doesn't need to be so complicated.
Complicated. I think you put it right. It's basically the technical jargon
Yeah.
that kind of scares,
It just
everyone.
scares you away.
Yes. Sloth.
Mhm.
Okay. What would you do if you were given a month off? No calls, no emails.
I would go insane. I hate to confess this. I am the kind of person who can't take a 2 week vacation because by the time the seventh day rolls around, I get agitated and I want to come back to my office. So that's
No,
it's
not,
a very
no sloth happening.
yeah. So there's not a lot of sloth happening because I get very energized by the office. But if I get time off, I have unconventional interests. I meet a lot of people. So I like quiet time. I love poetry and I love to write.
Okay. Oh.
And I love to speak. So it all kind of integrates together. So any time off is in that sphere. It's either speaking or writing or storytelling or something like that. So
I think whatever energizes you.
yeah, really. And I don't believe in work-life balance as a concept. I believe in work-life harmony. Like it should all fit together. I mean, there's no work and there's no life. It just makes it seem like work is the lame, boring part and life is the cool part.
Yes.
I don't believe it's like that. There should be a harmony.
Yes. Yes. Very well said. Pride. In your journey,
Uh-huh.
in your view, what are the top things that you are proudest of that helped you reach where you are today?
I rarely look back on journeys and reflect on them. But I think there are a few things. One is that I've taken a lot of chances and I've played a lot of things as is. So whatever opportunity that I was given at that point in time, I've tried to make the best of it. So one of the interesting things is when I joined Edelweiss about 2 years in, I got the opportunity to manage the merger of JP Morgan Asset Management and Edelweiss Asset Management without knowing either of the businesses from as an outsider, still with my forefront business. And that was super interesting. And I just took on the opportunity. So whatever opportunities have come my way, I've tried to make the most of them, which has been fantastic. The second thing is that one of the other things is I've tried to work on my own skill set, and this is something I tell my team a lot. I've tried to evolve my own skill set a lot. So I've come to the point where I can be reasonably honest about my own strengths and weaknesses and say, look, Radhika, this is what you're good at, this is what you're not good at. And now, as a leader, surround yourself with people who have those skill sets,
Okay.
which maybe 5 years ago I couldn't do. And then this is what you need to work on and constantly develop. I'll be very honest, I think emotional control, maturity, these are skills I've acquired over time. So I'm happy that I've been able to work on those aspects of my personality over time, and it's taken me some time to come to that realization that I can't be superwoman. I think women struggle with that.
Oh.
I can't be good at everything.
That's a whole different
I
conversation.
mean, it is a long conversation, but I can't do
No.
everything.
And
So
we shouldn't even try.
I don't want to try.
Yeah.
It's not smart.
It's not smart.
So I'm going to surround myself with superstars, and I am surrounded with them. And everyone doesn't need to be like me, also, right?
Absolutely. Complementary skills.
Yeah. And the third one, and I think this harks back to the video also, is that one of the things that's making me really happy is that so I've never been someone with skills like I would never sing or dance or do anything creative. But in this process of work, I've been able to find something I love, which is my writing and speaking, and integrate it really well with my work and use it to make an impact. So that's really nice. I mean, it's work-life harmony of the highest order, and
Right.
that just gives me a lot of happiness. I mean, I get a tremendous love from this profession because of some of my part-time passion. So that's awesome.
Also, what I felt about, I've seen a lot of your videos and your work. It's helped you create a marvelous personal brand as well because you've integrated it so well.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
And it was not a conscious call. It's all just happening now, and the idea is to take it forward and do a lot more stuff. But I mean, if I can use the word in Hindi, I love the stage. I mean, for the last 1.5 years, I go on a stage and I see that audience, and I tell my team it's like a feeling of nasha. It's intoxicating. It's inspiring. It's so much fun, and it integrates so well with my profession.
Very nice. Envy. Who are the leaders that you look up to? Who is your inspiration?
I don't have an exact answer to this question, but I think there's some phenomenal women in India who have done a lot of stuff at the leadership level in financial services. I'm very proud that India has had a rich legacy of banking CEOs.
Yes.
I also look up to corporate professionals who've done really well integrating and contributing back to the country. So someone like Nandan Nilekani, for instance, has done phenomenally as leading Infosys, but then he's done phenomenally in creating an institution in what he's done thereafter. So for me, that's very inspiring. People who are sort of very successful corporate professionals, but then also making an impact at some point on people. So I find that very, very inspiring. Men, women, otherwise. And that, if I look at the kind of career I want for myself and I see Nandan's career, I think that's something I'd like to emulate.
Okay. Nice. My last, gluttony. What is your favorite cuisine? What do you like to eat?
So I love food. If you see my video, you know I run a restaurant.
You do?
I used to run a restaurant. Sorry,
Okay.
I ran a restaurant in college. Now, obviously,
Oh,
don't.
wow.
Yeah, so my first business was running a restaurant in college, and my mother is a phenomenal cook because my father was a diplomat. So this question can go on and on. But my favorite cuisine is Italian because I grew up in Italy. When
Okay.
I was in high school, my father lived in Italy.
Okay.
So I can eat pizza, pasta, risotto, cappuccino, wine, and any kind of dessert all day.
Interesting. Very,
Yeah.
very interesting.
I mean, I can give you 10 more, but this is
But
the top
Italian.
one.
Italian.
And I love food.
Any chances of starting another restaurant? Any dreams of starting another restaurant?
So I've done that. The next one is to write a book at some point.
Okay.
The next one, which is not going to happen for 5-7 years, so I'm too busy, is to write a book.
Book.
Yeah,
Okay.
so maybe that'll happen.
Well, I wish you all the best, Radhika. Thank
Thanks.
you so much for spending time with us.
It's my pleasure.
It's always, actually means business at the chat show. We try and build stories of role models,
Mhm.
women who are doing some fantastic work. And I think you're doing fantastic work in
Thank
your
you.
industry and overall as well. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you, guys.
And for all our viewers, stay tuned, stay focused, stay happy, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe the works. This is Deepika saying, see you.